Why do I have such a big whiteboard? Well, because this video is such a big deal. We're not going to take a ton of this whiteboard up, but we are going to talk about the 7 parts to an entry fee in this video. Check it out. Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Morby, and I focus a lot of my time and energy on creative finance. I love making YouTube videos that bring value to you guys. So if you like this video, please like, comment, subscribe, all of the things. Let's get into the video. Today we're going to be talking about the 7 parts to an entry fee. Now, what is an entry fee? I have paid mentors, I have been part of masterminds, I have asked so many other creative finance investors how they look at this, and nobody was ever able to give me an answer. So through doing my own deals, I came up with what is called the entry fee. Nobody else talks about this. Nobody ever jumps into it. They make it super complicated, but I'm going to simplify what it costs to buy a subject to deal. So when you ask yourself, what will it take for me to buy this deal? The entry fee is the answer to that question. So let's get into it. Number 1, part of an entry fee. Guys, who cares about my freaking handwriting? All you care about is the value. Let's go. So number 1, when you guys are working at a deal with a seller, the first thing you want to ask that seller is how much cash does that seller need? Now, it's COVID, 2020, I'm in my home studio. So guess what, guys? I'm the Subto guy. I own this house subject to. So the question was, when I took over this mortgage subject to, how much did I give the seller? Well, I gave the seller exactly what they needed because I knew this property, even if I didn't live in it, I knew that I could make $1,000 a month renting it out, or maybe a couple $1,000s a month utilizing it as an Airbnb. But in this situation, my wife and I fell in love with this property. We ended up buying this subject to for our own purposes. Now, in that situation, I asked the seller, what do you need in order for you to vacate the property, move on to the next chapter in your life? And the answer to his question was $2,500. Okay, so that is cash to seller. What happens a lot of times is that investors send me deals in my Instagram, my email, my Facebook group, and they say, hey, Pace, I've got a great subject to deal. And I say, what's the entry fee? They have no idea what an entry fee is unless they're one of my students in my Subto mentorship. So the entry fee is what I use to calculate my cost for buying a subject to deal. Now, this also works for seller finance, but we're just going to stick to all creative finance deals have an entry fee. I'm going to buy this property, I'm going to close escrow, and I'm going to renovate and hold this property myself. What is going to be my cost to get into the deal? Now, we'll do future videos on where this money comes from. I actually have 10 places where this money comes from, anywhere but my own pocket, and we'll do that video in the future. So the first thing I figure out is how much money does the seller need? Now, this seller, Dave, in this situation said, you know what? I wasn't able to sell the property without subject to. I am so grateful for the opportunity to sell this home to you. I would like to take $2,500. So Dave sold this property to me for $2,500. I didn't use any of my own credit. I didn't use any of my own credentials. Nobody ever verified my bank account. I gave $2,500 to Dave, and this home, which is about a $500,000 home, is mine for $2,500. Pretty epic. Now, I gave the seller $2,500. Guys, that's not the entry fee. That's just part 1 of the entry fee. Part 2 of the entry fee is arrears, liens, or issues. So guys, a lot of people have no idea what arrears are. Sometimes when we're buying a property subject to from a homeowner, they are behind on their payments. So if the seller is behind on their payments, the amount of money that they owe the bank in late payments is the arrears. So you've got to add up the arrears, any liens, any issues with the IRS, anything like that. And this comes up to the number 2, which I just call arrears. On this particular property, I had $0. Dave did not have late payments. He didn't owe the IRS any money. He didn't owe his HOA any money. He was caught up to speed He was on par with all of his payments. He was on time with everything, okay? Now, number three is cost of acquisition. So, what did it cost me to buy this property? Well, there's 7 parts to the cost. But what people don't realize is that your marketing spend, your VAs, your text blasting, by the way, batch skip tracing or BatchLeads.io is what we use. So guys, if you need a discount on skip tracing services, go down below. But at the end of the day, I have a cost to get in front of that seller, right? There's marketing expenses to get in front of that seller. I have to put that in my frame of mind. Now, how did I get this deal locked up? How did I buy this particular property that me and my family live in? It was actually given to me as a referral from another wholesaler real estate agent who could not sell the property. So I teach my students in Subto.com how to go and get free leads and convert those free leads into Subto deals. I actually paid the real estate agent who had this property listed before. After 6 months of not being able to sell the property, I paid this agent a referral fee of $2,500. Okay? So far, my entry fee is already at $5,000. Now, what happens is I'm in contract, I worked with the agent negotiates with the seller and says, hey, we want to get this house sub 2. We work out the deal. My total cost is $5,000. Sorry guys, it really isn't $5,000 because now I have to close escrow. Now, in the great state of Arizona, we're pretty lucky. The cost to close escrow on a $400,000 house is about $3,000. It's less than 1%. We like to use Title Alliance of Phoenix for all of our creative finance closes, also wholesale, also fix and flip. Whatever we are doing in the state of Arizona, we use Title Alliance of Phoenix. If you guys need a good title company, Danielle Pendergrass is amazing. I don't make any money actually saying that. I just love the title company. They are epic. So we got to close escrow. I've got to take this down to a title company. I've got to take my documents and let them know, hey guys, I'm buying this house subject to. Dang, I just went from $2,500, $5,000, now I'm at $8,000 already for my entry fee. Now, for this particular property, guess what guys? We still have 3 more things people don't take into consideration. Number 1, I own the property now. Let's say, hypothetically, I decided that I was going to rent this property out, which originally was my exit strategy. The problem is I brought my wife over here for a construction walkthrough, and my wife says, babe, I want to move into this house. So we took it off of the rental block and we moved into this property ourselves. But we planned on doing a renovation because now I own the property, I need to renovate it, and I need to make it rent ready, okay? So if the renovation is in here, we actually, because they had taken care of the property, we were only planning on spending about $1,000, cleaning up the landscape, cleaning the property, and then renting this property out. That's really all it was going to take. Now, number 6 and 7 are the most commonly missed or overlooked items on the entry fee. What happens, I get investors all over the country that call me and they go,
oh my gosh, Pace, I put this money together. I thought this thing was gonna be this much money for an entry fee and it ended up being a lot more.
And I go, I already know why. Because number 1, you didn't take into consideration your cost of the marketing and that money is now still out of pocket. You didn't take that into consideration. And then you didn't even know about these 2. And when I say them out loud, they will be so common sense that you'll be like, oh, well, yeah, duh. But some people will have an epiphany. Some people will realize that this is super critically important. So my total cost is not just my cash to the seller. If there's any arrears or late payments, it's not just my referral fee for somebody to bring the deal to me. It's not just the escrow fees for me to actually close it and become the owner of the property. I also have to renovate that. So now once I've renovated this property, what do I then have to do? Well, guess what, guys? I just bought this property subject to, which means I took over somebody's mortgage. Guess what I have? I have mortgage payments. Is a renter going to move into this property the second I finish the renovation? No, that is typically not how it works. This property will end up being vacant for 30 to 45 days while I look for a tenant. So what we do is we call this the maintenance. So I need to maintain this property. I need to maintain the mortgage payment, the utilities, the landscape, the pest control. Guys, we're in Arizona. There's scorpions, like hella scorpions up in Arizona. Okay, so you have to pay $60 to $80 a month for all of your pest control here in Arizona. So just because your house is vacant doesn't mean scorpions don't want to hang out. You need to be paying for this, and that is what I call maintenance. So what we do is we take, this is very important, how do I determine the maintenance fee? How do I determine the maintenance fee? Where it comes from is I take the mortgage payment, the utilities, power, water, sewer, gas, all of those things, the HOA, and any landscape or exterior maintenance of that property that I need to do. This property was $2,500 for mortgage, utilities, HOA, maintenance on the landscape, and pest control was $2,500. I take that number and I multiply it by 2. Why do I multiply it by 2? Well, because I'm going to have a vacant property for 2 months. I need to make sure I have $2,500 2 months in a row, so I'm not hemorrhaging like all these investors that call me and go,
Pace, oh my gosh, I have an empty property and now I got a mortgage payment that's due in 2 weeks and I don't have a tenant. My tenant's not moving in for 4 weeks.
That's because you didn't take the maintenance into consideration and put together a $5,000 amount of money that will protect you for 2 months of an empty property. Now, number 7, this is also common sense. When I said this on the maintenance side, people go, oh yeah, that makes sense. But they weren't considering it. They very rarely actually put it into play. Number 7 is marketing. I usually put a flat fee in here for $1,000. Now, my total entry fee is $6,000, $7,000, $10,000, $15,000 on a property. $15,000 on a property that originally the seller only wanted $2,500.
That's a lot of money.
So do you guys see why the entry fee is so critically important? You need to consider all of these things when buying a sub-2, a seller finance, etc. You absolutely should never send me a deal unless all 7 of these items are filled out, because I'm going to ask you, hey, Freddie, whoever, let's say Freddie's sending me a deal. I go, hey, Freddie, what's the entry fee? Do you know what every investor ever says to me on an entry fee answer? This, right here. Every single time they go, seller wants $2,500. Okay, but what about your fee? Okay, now if you're going to wholesale a subject to, that goes right here. Because I'm buying this property from Freddie, that's a cost of my acquisition. So if Freddie says, well, I want a $10,000 assignment fee, guess what just happened? My entry fee just went up $7,500. So now I have a $22,500 entry fee based on Freddie wanting to make $10,000. The cost of acquisition is critically important. I need to know as the buyer because I need to bring this kind of money to the escrow table. I need to know I need to cover all of these expenses, and I'm going to tell you why. Because I want to be $0 of my own money in every single deal I own. And how do I do that? Well, because this money comes from one of 10 places outside of my own pocket. One of those being a private lender. So let's say I go get a private lender, somebody who's investing in me in my buy and hold strategy. I'm going to raise $22,500. What if Freddie told me that the renovation was $1,000 and it ends up being $10,000? Well, guess what, guys? I just borrowed $9,000 too little in order to get this deal done. You need to be able to know the entry fee so you know where to get the money from. Now, this is on the buy and hold strategy. If I'm buying and holding this property, I need to know the entry fee. If I'm not buying and holding, and let's say I'm just going to wholesale it, then the entry fee is also critically important because you know what your buyer is going to need to bring to the table. Therefore, it will help you determine how much money you can make. Now, let's take this into consideration. What happens if my renovation is no longer $1,000? Let's say my renovation is $100,000. Do you think it's appropriate for me to make $10,000 on a property that needs a $100,000 renovation? Guys, I don't think so. So the entry fee helps you navigate what to charge, and also if the seller is asking you for too much money. Sometimes the seller says, I want 25 grand down. Okay, well, that's gonna put my buyer in a situation where my buyer can't afford that. I already know I can't afford that. So understanding the entry fee will get you into a position where you understand where to negotiate, where you're too high, how much money you can make on an assignment, and also how much money you need to raise in order to put a deal like this together. So the last part, which I didn't cover, is marketing. What does that mean? Because I talked about marketing right here on cost of acquisition. This marketing is before I close escrow. Remember that, guys, this is chronological. So seller gets their cash first, I pay off the liens, the person who brought me the deal gets paid. Once everybody's happy, I then close escrow and I own the property. Once I own the property, I then I then renovate the property. Once I renovate it, I have to have maintenance and owing, monthly payments and all of those things. But now when the house is completely renovated, I need to market for a renter. I need to put ads out. I need to pay somebody maybe to bring a tenant to the table and pay them a commission. A renter agent, somebody who represents renters, would need to get paid. I truly raise every penny I need in order to acquire all of these properties. And I'm going to do more videos on raising private capital. I would love to know what questions you guys have about the entry fee. And if you want me to deep dive and make more and more videos about the entry fee, depending on what type of exit strategy, because we've got so many strategies that the entry fee will help you with. So, in conclusion, the 7 parts to an entry fee are: what does the seller get in their pocket, right? Because I'm taking over their debt. What do they get in their pocket? Real cash. Does the seller have any arrears, liens, or issues on the property that I need to take care of before we close escrow? What's the cost of acquisition? Meaning, if I'm buying the deal, am I paying an assignment fee for it? Did I pay for marketing? Did I pay for batch leads? And ultimately, it cost me money to get in front of that seller. Do I have a podio? Do I have an acquisition team that I have to pay a commission to? I do. So guys, my entry fee is very important. I need to know my cost of acquisition. Then I close escrow. Again, Title Alliance of Phoenix knows how to do all creative finance deals, so check them out. Renovation, super important. If I'm holding the property, I need to know that. Maintenance on the property means my mortgage, my utilities, my HOA, my exterior landscape, pest control maintenance, all of those things times 2 months while the property is vacant. Finally, finding that tenant, filling the space is money that I need to pay money out of my pocket. So if you're trying to accomplish this business with $0 out of pocket, you need to know your entry fee so you know how much money to raise, how to put together, etc. Now, what's amazing is this property. Check this out. Here's what my entry fee actually was. My cost of acquisition was $2,500. That's a horrible one. My renovation, let's say $1,000. And what was my bottom fee? It was $15,000. So what we're talking about here is I put $15,000 up on a property, none of my own money, to acquire a property using none of my own credit so that I could cash flow $1,000 per month. Pretty epic. This business is unbelievably powerful. I would never go back to traditional financing. Creative financing is the way, the truth, and the light as far as I'm concerned. So if you guys got value from this, please make a comment. I want to know. I want to know what questions you have. The challenge with a YouTube video is that I can't have live feedback, okay? So the feedback I need from you so I know what videos to make in the future is questions relating to the entry fee. Make me some questions down below. Freddie and I will go make more and more videos in the future. That's number 1. Number 2, please let me know that we did a good job. Give us some feedback. Tell us our lighting sucks. Tell us our audio sucks. Give me some feedback. We want to get so good at this. You guys are coming back here over and over and over for creative finance related items. And then number 3, do the stuff, right? The stuff. Subscribe, like, share, and more importantly, hit the notification bell so you guys can see those videos coming across your email. I appreciate you. Thank you for coming to my YouTube channel. And this is the entry fee to creative finance.